I'm good. You good, Doug?
I'm good.
It's like I got more nervous than you. Hey, what's up, guys? It's your boy Benny from Flores Bullies, and this is Flores Bullies, the podcast, episode number 2. And as you can already see, I have a huge guest today, one of the biggest names on social media in the Bully and Frenchie game. And it is such an honor for me to be here at his house, of course. And you guys already know who he is. Doug from TWT Bulls. Doug, thank you so much for being here today.
Yeah, man, Benny, appreciate it. I'm a big fan of you and your program, and I was like honored that you asked to have me on. I was excited.
Now, I was pretty like, I knew you were going to say yes, right?
Yeah.
But I was still like anxious. Like, I'm like, what if he's like, nah, I'm busy or whatever? I'm like, dang.
No, I'm all about it. I watched your first episode, and I was like, it was so professional, so well done. I was like, man, you're definitely suited for this. I love it.
I appreciate it.
Cool.
And, starting this podcast, I was telling you before we started recording that I want to create sort of a positive vibe thing out here in the bully game. I know there's a lot of negativity I've noticed on social media between Frenchies and bullies, or within the same Frenchies, within the same bullies. And you have been one of the guys who have done both, right, for a while. And you've always been positive. I've never seen you talk bad about anybody. I've never seen you, have a bad rep. And how do you maintain that positiveness throughout all this craziness of the Frenchie bully game?
Well, to me, it's a mindset, and I'm focusing on my vision and what I'm into and what I care about. And anything negative or distracting from that, I just don't argue with it, don't comment on it. I just stay completely out of it. Focus on. I'm kind of a one-track-minded person when I have an idea, and I just stay focused on, what I am focused on and ignore the rest. The second piece to that is truly doing business and hanging out and associating with people that are like-minded. And you can get that vibe from talking to people. If they're out to make a quick dollar just for the money, if they're, call me up and want to talk and send me other people's dogs, it's like I try to really stay away from that.
Right. And I know you did one of the breedings where I saw a few people question it when I think was it Lexi?
Yeah,
with
Legend's
Diego?
sister, Lexi. Yeah, he's the Frenchie.
Yeah, so I mean, it was a bully with a Frenchie, and everybody was like, a few people were like, what? Why is he doing that? I didn't really say anything because I don't know too much to even comment like that. But did you get any kickback on doing that breeding?
Yeah, I had. So to me, when I look at the micro exotic bullies like the Bape, the Bolsachi, those real compact, flat face, no tail. I mean, you can obviously look at the dog and that wasn't just pocket American bullies inbred.
Right, there's
some sauce in there. And the more breedings I did, I just didn't have that consistent dog like your boy Tuco coming out. Like there'd be one or two a litter, and I'm just looking for consistency. And I know, if the mom has this behind her with that Bape blood, let's see what happens, and a lot of people will do that and say it's an inbreeding, or do that and say they use their friend's dog. But I'm just going to be honest, like, hey, this is what I'm doing. If you like it, cool. If not, keep moving. But there was a lot of private messages that were a little off-putting, like the game is to be sold, not told. Or like, what are you doing? You're ruining the game. And I'm like to me, I'm not in a game. I don't want to be in a game. Like I would more say it's a lifestyle. I like breeders like you. I love the dogs. And I'm constantly wanting to get better, to have a more consistent product, to produce a better looking dog. And I really felt like feature-wise they would match up well. So I'm like, I'm just going to do it, If people don't like it, they can wait till a different breeder and go somewhere else.
Yeah, and it's not like you were telling people, like, this is the way to go. This is what you need to do. Like, you weren't pushing it on nobody.
No, it's not the end all. It's not the only way to do anything. It's like, hey, let's try it.
Right. No, and they came out pretty good. I've seen some of the pups, and, I mean, they came out fine.
Yeah.
Diego's a nice little producer. If you guys haven't seen him, he's on his social media on TWT Bulls. And he's a nice little Merle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a nice little stud. And well, I wanted to just jump into that because I like the drama. But let's start from the beginning. Like I remember I started following you probably 2018. I don't know. I was still working at the restaurant, 12-hour shifts. And my dad was like, look, there's this guy that breeds bullies. We didn't even know you were in Georgia.
Oh, that's cool.
And so we just started following you. You had Big Zeus. And Big Zeus caught my eye, and I was like, wow, this dog's crazy. So how did Doug end up in the bully game?
Man, well, I've from a kid, you guys are probably the same way. I always loved dogs. And growing up, my parents always had German Shepherds. And, you know, through high school, through college, like German Shepherds were my thing. Like when I graduated college, got a job, got a house, I went and got like 3 German Shepherds. Like I thought they were the best, the end all be all. So I was fully on the German Shepherd thing, into the bloodlines, the working lines versus the West German show lines versus the American show lines, the sable, like fully in German Shepherds. I wanted to train them, to show them, to breed them, just into them. And then my sister-in-law, Jana, came home with a little like red-nosed pit bull puppy. Mm-hmm. And it had ball drive, willingness to please. It didn't shed. With the German Shepherds, around 7 years, the hips start to go bad. Yeah. This pit bull was healthy as a horse. And then I was like, I like this, the big head. I start, you know me, I get into something, I start researching. And researching that pit bull brought me into the XL and standard size bullies. I was like, I have to have one. I got a blue bully, got into it, went to a couple shows. And at one of the shows, I saw a blue dog named Heisenberg. Okay. Josh Hilliard. Yeah. Hilliard's Bully Ranch at the time. He no longer breeds. He owned a dog named Heisenberg, which is Big Zeus's dad. So I saw this dog, and he was so short. His head was so massive. I was like, oh, my word, I want everyone in the world to see this dog because the way it made me feel, just like, whoa, that's so cool. And he was so cool. And then I just kind of had my eyes out. I need to get a Heisenberg pup. I just assumed every Heisenberg pup was going to look like, you know, when you start out. Yeah. And we ended up finding the year-old Heisenberg son, Big Zeus. So we acquired him, and, you know, he's just a freak.
Yeah, that guy's head is, like, he's just crazy. A freak.
I invested in some Dax daughters, some pocket female bullies to breed to him, put together some real nice breedings, had some amazing pups. You know, I didn't have any social media. Mm-hmm. And so I put the pups on, like, the Hoobly website.
I don't even know what that is.
Puppies.com. It's like where people online classify ads. And, like, nobody wanted to buy my pups. I'm like, but they have, well, like, the picture is so amazing. How does nobody want this pup? Someone's like, well, you got to go to shows. So I'd, like, go to some shows, and people would be like, dang, he's awesome. Where do I follow you? I'm like, what does that mean? Follow me? Like, what are you talking about? And then someone was like, look, you can have amazing dogs, but if you don't have any kind of marketing or branding or a place where people can go see them and show them off and treat it like a real business, people aren't going to know them and not going to want your pups.
Right.
And that's when I was like, well, I refuse to do Facebook. I'm like, I can't stand it. Everyone bragging and arguing. I can't do it. So I'm like, well, I'm always on YouTube watching how to do stuff. I'll start a YouTube, you know? And then Matt from Full Tilt Bullies saw one of my YouTube videos when I had like 3 people watching them. He happened to watch one. And he came down and did a breeding and gave me a shout out. And then like a lot of the people that were following him liked Big Zeus and started following me. And then I started having like, hey, when are you going to have pups? Or what's the stud fee? And I'm like, the social media thing works.
Yeah.
So I just made a commitment. I want to get at least like 2 videos a week for a year. And when I set my mind to something, like it's not an option, I'm going to do it. So I just would whip out the cell phone and 2 times a week get video of the dogs playing or anything that came to mind. Like, and I would never rewatch them because I hate hearing myself talk.
Same.
I hate it.
When I edit this, it's such a cringe.
And I'm never really into videos because it's usually just me and the dogs. I'm holding my cell phone. So I just stuck with that 2 times a week, and it started growing. And then dog-wise, as the more breedings I got in, I started going to shows, and my taste went from like a cleaner pocket bully to like a bigger exotic bully to like a smaller and smaller exotic bully. And then, like, with dogs, like, you know, mission size and those real little ones, it's like, well, for this size, I could have a Frenchie. And my sister-in-law, Jen, is like, I've always wanted a Frenchie. And then I got bit by the Frenchie bug, and, you know, now here I sit.
That's crazy. It's definitely a crazy journey. I feel like some of the people who maybe just started following you that only know you for maybe, like, the Frenchies, they're like, oh, man, this guy has, like, a big following on social media, a lot of followers on YouTube and everything. And some people usually think that it came easy. Obviously, I know that, you know, there was a lot of footwork put behind all that in order for you to gain all these followers. But was it crazy to you when all of a sudden your videos on YouTube started hitting all these views?
You know, to be honest, I never even paid attention. Like, how many people would be like, how many subscribers do you have? I'm like, I don't know. I just post stuff. I don't look at the views, the subscribers. I never really cared, you know? Like, as long as I could, like, meet good people and have healthy quality pups and find good homes for them, you know, it's like I never really cared. I would just think in my head, like, if I was watching someone that I admire's video, what would I want to see?
Right.
I want to see studs out playing together. I want to see the dogs acting crazy. Like, so I'm like, well, what would I want to see? And then I'll post that. And if people watch, they watch, you know?
Yeah, because I don't think people at the end of the day, they don't really want to see us.
No,
you know what I mean?
It's about the dogs. Keep it about the dogs.
Yeah, you know? There's a lot of breeders out there, and I mean, I'm not throwing hate. I'm just saying my opinion. But there's a lot of breeders out there that they'll do a video, and they'll have like the puppies playing, but it's just the camera's on them. They're just talking and talking and talking. I'm like, all right, let me see the dog. Man. I see the dogs running. Let me see the dogs.
Yeah.
But everybody has their own taste. But definitely, that's something that got me with your videos. It was just being able to see such big, crazy monsters being like these big babies playing with smaller dogs, with older dogs. So that's what got me into it. And I think at the beginning we were going to breed to Big Zeus, and then Legend came around and changed to me everything because he was shorter.
You love Legend.
I love Legend. Yeah. I mean, his thickness, the glow on his hair, being a everything. I was just like, wow, I love this dog. And we ended up using Legend. He gave us a huge litter. That's where we got our boy Caballero, who's now in Utah. That's where we got Tokyo. And one of the things that surprised me was when I messaged Doug, I think because you said your number on YouTube, I believe. And my dad was like, oh, text this guy and then see where he's at. Maybe we can get some information. Yeah. Turns out you were here in Georgia. That's so funny. And like, I didn't even ask. Doug was like, yeah, whenever you want to come by and see the dogs. And I was like, what? So have you always been like that open to people
One thing I learned was when I started looking at like social media and pictures, I'd see a dog's picture or I'd see a dog on social media. And then when I'm like, I got to breed to that dog, I have to see it in person. They would have an excuse why I couldn't see it.
Yeah.
Or when I did see it, it'd be like, it looked totally different. So that's kind of why I like the raw video. Like, what you see is what you get. And video still doesn't really do justice when you have, like, quality dogs like your boy Tuco. You know, you have to see him in person to just put it together. So, to me, the best way to, like, build a relationship and acquire customers is come see him in person. Like, see what we're really about, you know?
Yeah. So, when did you start selling, I don't know, like, your puppies out of state? Did that give you like some kind of feels when you were like, dang, my dogs are going out of Georgia now?
It was a little bit stressful because when I, instead of using classified ads to sell the dogs, I would post a YouTube video and people would be messaging me from all over. And then I quickly realized most of these viewers wanting puppies are in like California and Texas and Florida. So it was like, oh man, I have to like really, know what I'm doing here. And I was trying to research some dog transportation companies, and if you've ever sold a dog, like you're in Atlanta and you sell it to California, and then a van pulls up with 15 cages in it, and they're like, right, we're doing all these liver, and it's just like, okay, what happens if what if something happens to it in transit? Is it my fault? Like, so it was very stressful. And I asked guys who had been selling dogs to different states who they use, asked for recommendations, and people would give me ground transport company names, and then I kind of figured out like the flight nanny or having people. I got to the point where it's like you come to me and pick it up in person, or you fly to Atlanta and fly back with it on your lap.
Yeah.
Not dealing with companies that zigzag around or like getting stressed by a transporter,
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like I've sold a few pups out of state, and it is a big stress.
Yeah.
I ended up just using Ray from Ray Bully Camp.
Nice. Yeah.
Because he was always traveling, and so I was like, hey Ray, like how much do you charge, to get this dog to California? And he'd give them a quote. They'd arrange it, and then he flies with them. That's what I like. I'd rather them fly with a puppy than, like you say, like being in a cage for 15 hours, which is nothing against people who do. Like, that's what you do. Awesome. But I prefer my puppy to be, on a short little tube flight. Yeah.
It's like they could probably have a natural birth, but a C-section is way less stress.
Yes. That's what I tell people all the time.
Try to reduce the stress.
Yeah, because like, you can definitely have them there, like Doug says, but it is a huge stress thinking like, oh, is the puppy going to come out? Is it okay? Is there another one in there? Like my first litter that I ever had with my boy Nico that I used to have, the vet was like, she's not pregnant. And I was like, she looks pregnant. No, she's not pregnant. I get home from work one day. She was outside in the yard, and there was puppies on the ground.
Oh, my
And
word,
I thought I was going to die. I ran in there. I grabbed the puppies. I brought China back up, and then we put her in a kiddie pool. I grabbed all of my mom's towels that she had in the house, put them in the kiddie pool, and then she just started popping puppies out. And then we revived one, right, Chris? Like, one had died, and we revived it. And then we had one with the cleft palate. We didn't even know what that was. We ended up losing that puppy. And then we didn't even know because we were at the vet. A puppy stayed inside, so we lost another puppy. So everything that could have gone wrong happened in that first litter. So that's what I tell people now. Like, do your research if you're thinking of getting into breeding anything, but especially these bullies. Do your research. It's not like a walk in the park breeding these dogs, you definitely have to have somewhat of an idea. I remember me asking Doug a million questions. What do you do when this happens? What do you do when this happens? And thankfully, Doug was always there to answer the questions. But, not everybody's as lucky to have somebody like Doug ready there to give you all the information. So definitely do your research, because I think it's one of the most stressful things is simply just whelping the puppies.
Oh, yeah.
How much work is whelping puppies, Doug?
Well, one of my first big Zeus litters with our female Lemon, Shade's mom, she had a natural birth. It was in the pockets where it was a little more common. And my sister's like, okay, she had 4 puppies. I'm going to go to work, come check on them. I show up to check on them, and there's 6 puppies nursing. And I'm like, so then I do all this. I leave. My sister comes home on her lunch break, and there's 7 puppies. And I'm like, something about this is sketchy.
Like duplicating or what?
What's going on? And at the time, I was really like learning as you go. But nowadays, I really believe if you're really taking yourself serious, and whoever you purchase your female from should be willing to mentor you the whole way through.
Yes.
You're buying more than a puppy. You're also, building a relationship. And if I buy a female puppy from someone, I expect, especially if I'm a new breeder, as I go through it, them to take the time to always answer my call and to, provide whatever help they can, in a reasonable way.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, to me, it's a red flag if the person you buy a dog from doesn't want to answer your text afterwards, right? It's like, you gave me the money, I gave you the pup, boom, gone. Don't talk to me no more. To me, that's definitely a red flag. Now, there's people who do it, and like I said, good for them. But I definitely rather work with people that I can build a relationship with. Like, I mean, I've known Doug since 2019, 2018. I've known Miguel, which I met through Doug, since then. And I mean, and we've kept a relationship. We might not, be at each other's house all the time, but we're, either on social media, liking each other's pictures.
Yeah, we got each other's back, no matter what.
Yes, when we need it, we're there.
We're there, yep.
Right? And that's what I think is very important in this bully game. Another thing that I think is very important if you're thinking of, getting into the bully game or whatever is having support at your house. And I see that Doug has his kids working. I've seen his wife posting, his sister-in-law. And so how important is it, for that your family is behind you on all this?
It wouldn't happen if they weren't. I love the temperament, the look, hanging with the dogs. But like you said, medical things, whelping puppies hands-on, like a lot of it. And like, if I had to do it solely by myself, I don't think I would stick with it. I'd have the pets, go to shows, but I don't think I would like produce puppies like I do if it wasn't for all my family helping out. And different family members have different strengths. Like my dad is like the nonstop worker.
Oh my God,
like
he's built this whole set that we see here.
He's naturally, instinctually great with young puppies and mothers, and he's just like a workhorse.
Oh, he does whelp the puppies, right?
He whelps the puppies. He's a workhorse. And then like Jana, my family in North Carolina. So, and it's a good way. Like sometimes it's easy in the busyness of kids and work and everyday life to get out of touch. But when you all share this dog thing, you're visiting and bringing your dogs over. You're talking about who's in heat, who's whelping, who's got these puppies, and it keeps you closer, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, dogs, like I said, dogs is, man's best friend. And I think this proves it. The fact that it can even keep the family closer together. Like with me and my dad, I don't think I would be doing it either if it wasn't because of my dad. Because my dad's usually the one who's at home putting all the hard work in. Yeah. And then when we get home from work, Chris and I, we help out. Coach over here, he helps out too. So definitely I think having the support from your family, having your back is a huge thing. And definitely talk about it with your wife if you're a married guy. Before you bring all these dogs, because it will
Except not
problems.
When you're messaging about a puppy and then let me ask my wife.
Yes,
right?
Don't do that. Don't be that guy. Oh my goodness.
It's so common, right?
It always happens. They ask me a million questions.
What's the price? Okay, let me ask my wife.
Yeah, and we have no problem. Like if if the price to you is not at your budget, it's fine. Like not everybody can afford a $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 puppy. Everybody has their own budget, and we're not counting on you for that. But I'd rather just be like, okay, you're not a little bit out of my range. I appreciate it. Yeah. And to give me let me talk to my wife. Let me talk to my kidnet partner. Oh yeah, I got to talk to my brother, he's the one who wanted it, not me. And you're just like, an hour texting.
I really appreciate anybody that's watching my stuff or asking me questions about puppies. And I've noticed in the bully world, a lot of breeders can be very short or not answer.
Yeah, they're just like, yep.
And I will bend over backwards to answer any question. But you do see common themes where you have to joke about it with other breeders.
Yeah.
Let me ask my wife. It's funny.
That's one of the big ones.
It's a good one.
And then one of the things that I touched with Alonso from Toy Bullies in the first episode is the hate that I've seen on social media in the bully world. Like, I don't understand why one breeder has to try to talk down another breeder just to make himself look good. It's like, if you have a good-looking dog, just let your dog do the talking. I don't know why there's so much hate. And I don't know, you've been to some shows. Have you seen any of that going on in the shows or on social media?
It's, to me, a lot of the times, people are drawn to like negativity and hate more than just something good. So, like, you'll see it on YouTube. I never do the clickbait titles. Mm-hmm. Like dog fight or took a huge loss, dog died. Like, I'm not going to do that. But you'll see, if you do that, you're going to get more views. If I post a title, a little bit of drama, it's going to get way more views.
Right.
I don't care about that, but people are just drawn to the drama. It's entertaining, it's fun, you can, like, laugh at this. But like, you have to have that mindset of just staying out of it. Like, really, sometimes you might feel less relevant when you don't get involved in it all. Mm-hmm. But if you are, focusing on finding like-minded people, producing quality pups, at the end of the day, that drama you don't need. It's just taking time and energy away from more productive things. So I really make a strong, like, goal to just completely, if it turns to any kind of drama or, like, I'm not watching it.
Yeah.
Even if it looks interesting, I don't want to be part of it. I'm not watching it. Like, not going to feed into it because it's easy to go down that slippery slope.
Definitely.
And I can be a little argumentative.
You can be a little toxic.
I want people to, like, I want to talk, I want to argue and talk people into getting my point.
Right.
But it's not worth it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of hard to get somebody to agree with what you see if they're already, like, dying for what they believe in. And I don't know, I think it's pretty crazy, but it's definitely easier to be negative than positive. It's so much easier for me to say, man, Doug's channel sucks. Doug's dogs, they're not even that good. Then for me to get on camera and, be like, Doug's channel is crazy, his puppies are awesome, and then, be honest about it. Because some people will tell you, and on camera, this breeder is awesome, blah, 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 blah. Turn the camera off, and they don't talk to each other, they don't follow each other. It's all just for the social media. And I mean, and we're not like that. This is organically, we're cool like this. We're not doing it just for show.
It makes me laugh, but I've had a lot of bully breeders like message me or call me like, how much do I got to pay to do a video or to sell pups or to this or that? And I'm like, I don't take money to do a video. I do it for fun, but I want to, like, show off people who had, like, purchased females from me or used my studs or that I know and that I trust the bloodlines. Like, I don't care what you pay me. I'm not going to, like, do a video of your pups, but I don't know what's behind them. I don't know the quality, the consistency. Like, I care more about the quality of the puppies. It's not about just, like, pay me and I'll shout you out.
Right.
Because there's guys out there, they get some kind of following and they'll, like, take money to just do shout outs. But then the shout out means nothing.
Right.
If you really don't believe in it and you're just taking money to show it, it's, like, pointless.
Right. There's definitely a market for that out there. So I've seen it on Instagram with pages that have, a huge amount of followers. And they're like, $50 for a promo video or something like that. Yeah. And I get it. Everybody's got their hustle. But I feel like it means more when it comes from somebody who genuinely believes in what you're doing. And I can, back up what Doug's saying about, he chooses, like, who he wants to have. It's not really, like, you're paying. Because, like, when I first started and I had this one litter, I didn't even know the bloodlines. I was trying to get on Doug's channel, and Doug was like, I don't really know your bloodlines. You know what I mean? And I was like, I respect it. I kept working. I ended up breeding to better dogs. I started learning more. And that's when I ended up on Doug's channel because Doug controls the quality of what he shows.
I forgot about that. I mean, a lot of people would have been like, that guy's an a-hole.
Yeah, I would have
never dealt with me again.
Yeah, blocked Doug.
Yeah.
Nah.
I'm just, like, honest. Like, I have to believe in it to show it, or else it's, But yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, I think that's very important. That's very important, especially like when people that have, like a good stud. I know some people, they'll take any female as long as they get paid for it. Mm-hmm. And again, I respect it, but I feel like it's always better when they when they get a little picky with what females they breed to, because then you're definitely bettering the game. Every pup that your dog does produce, I feel like it's going to be better than, if you let your dog just breed to any given female, and then you have 20 pictures of good puppies, 100 pictures of, like, puppies that you probably wouldn't even say that they're your own dogs. And that's what happens when you just take anything.
That was one of my biggest learning curves. I talked with Kenny of Major League Bullies, and he's the one that said, like, you can't be out to make the quick dollar. all money isn't good money, and all business isn't worth it. Like, you have to take a step back and be a little more picky, you know? And you really, like we were saying, you want to have customers that have your same vision, your same mindset, your same attitude, because when you have a really good-looking or popular stud, I mean, you're going to have people that want to lock it in, and they've never done a breeding before. They know nothing. They're not going to research, and they're going to be blowing up your phone 24/7 without doing any of their own research. Yeah. You might not have the time to deal with that. So you want to, or like, you know, with people buying puppies, if it's first come, first serve, you still want to talk to the people first, feel them out. I don't want my dogs to go live in like an outside kennel as part of 50 dogs their whole life. I want to feel people out, make sure they're, you know, but it's hard to turn away business, but it's worth it to get the right people involved.
For sure. Like, I would lie to you if I don't tell you, like, when people message me, like on Facebook groups, they're like, you know, they're asking about the pup. I go to their profile and I go through their profile, and like, if I see one dog on a chain, I'm sorry, but that's it. I am not selling you my dog. Like, even if you come with the money or whatever, like, no, like, I do care about the quality of life that my dog will have once he gets sold. Like, that, to me, that's very important. And so if you're the kind of person who's gonna have your dog chained up outside and just living outside in the heat, these dogs aren't for that. So I'm gonna go ahead and tell you right now, do not DM me about a puppy if that's your plan, because that's not what I want. But most of the puppies, I've been able to keep up with a lot of them. So, because, you know, some customers, they'll take the puppy, they really don't care about building a relationship. They just bought their dog as a pet, and that's it. But some people, they like that. And I mean, I get updates from, you know, the dogs all over the state and all over the other states, and it's awesome to see them grow up. And, you know, they're in the bed with the kids, they're playing outside in the yard. I think that's definitely something satisfying. When you see the puppy that you produced, that you whelped as a puppy, now living like this good life. And I'm pretty sure you get a lot of updates.
Oh yeah, like, if you've purchased a puppy or used a stud, if you ever text or call me, I'm getting right back to you within 10 minutes, because your name and stuff saved in my phone. You know what I mean? I'm definitely messaging back, and it's really fun to see, like, puppies with kids, and you just feel like, wow, that came from here. It
feels good.
And then you get that, oh, I shouldn't have sold it. I like.
Oh my goodness! You know which one it happened with me with? You remember when we went to your house and I took a puppy, and we had people from Texas coming to pick up one of my males, one of you females.
Yeah, that boy with the monster head.
Oh, I see him now, and I'm like, why? Why did I sell that dog?
He had the big head as a puppy. So they have a Legend and Pepita daughter. Massive body. And then they have, what was your breeding?
It was
locally hated.
It was locally hated and Bonita. Was that who it was?
What is their Instagram name? Do you know it? Shout them out.
God,
it's like something our exotic.
I have it. I'm gonna pull my phone out right now.
We have to shout it out because
oh my goodness, their dogs are crazy.
The male has the most massive head. They have a cool Frenchie, and they have the female from Pepita.
Here, I got the profile right here. It is Exotic Bulldogs Are Us. I don't know if you can see it in the camera. If not, I'll probably zoom in there. But Exotic Bulldogs Are Us on Instagram. Go follow them, because they have the female that they got from Doug, and they got the male that they got from me. Look at that, man.
His head's crazy.
And I knew when he was a puppy that he was going to be crazy, but I was like in that mindset of, no, we're going to sell everything because we got to create space. And now I'm like, I should have not sold that dog. And I think he's already had a few breedings.
That's awesome.
So, and I wonder if they're going to breed them together. That would create some crazy
One thing I found is when your puppy, when your price isn't outrageous and it turns out better than they expect, most people come back for more. Or their family does, or their friends do. And you can kind of organically grow just because your pups are quality.
Right. Yeah. So how do you think some of these people, like, I know some people have, like, I've texted them and they sold their dogs for $2-3 grand. All of a sudden, I text them back and their dogs are at 10, 15. How do you think that goes? You think it's based off, like, is it the bloodline? Is it the popularity?
What turns me off from the exotic bully world and the color and fluffy Frenchie world is you could definitely tell when people are chasing the money. And you can, in the bully world, I can tell when you're putting breedings together just for that one pick of the litter, whether it be like an inbreeding or a crossbreeding. You want that one pick of the litter, and then all the rest you're hyping up and selling, but it's a vast difference from the pick.
Right.
So it's not like a longevity overall, all pups are quality, solid program. It's like I'm breeding to get this one freak that's going to have a $100,000 stud fee. Or like in the Frenchie world with all the colors and the fluffies, it's like, they're so expensive right now, I got to get some and sell some. But all of those trends, eventually the market gets more flooded. The price goes down. And then you're always jumping from trend to trend to trend, and you have to invest a ton of money to keep up with the trends. Where like for me, if you want to have a long-term business, it's like, what are you truly passionate about and or into, and then try to find that place and just perfect it and stick with it.
Yeah.
You know, stick with it. Like you have quality, healthy. It all starts with health. If the dogs aren't living past 7-8 years, I don't care how it looks, it wasn't a good breeding.
Right.
It all comes down to health. And then next is like temperament. If you have dog aggression issues and super anxiety issues and fear issues, I don't care how it looks if I can't take it out and it's cowering at everything. So like health and temperament to me have to be there. It almost goes unsaid. And then after that, it's like when you fall in love with a build and a structure and a size, all these different colors and hair lengths and fads will come and go. I'm not trying to produce a $100,000 puppy to sell overseas. I want to produce a number of quality litters that go to like-minded people. And it's not about selling one puppy for top dollar. It's about having a trusted program where they know if I go with this guy, it's going to be a quality, healthy, good pup.
Right. Every dog that you get is going to be worth every penny that you pay for.
But a lot of people don't want to put in that kind of grind and that kind of work and whelp that many litters and do that many breedings and work all the time. They want to feel like, well, I did this one breeding, I sold the pup for $100,000, I can take a year off.
Right.
You know, they want the quick money.
Yeah, and most people, I think that's a mistake, that they think they're gonna get rich off the bully game. And let me tell you, that is not what happens unless you already have money and you have, you know, like 80 grand in the bank ready to spend on just dogs. Yes, you might be able to, you know, buy two $25,000 dogs and get the hype and, you know, sell them. But I think for the most of us, we don't have 100 grand.
On social media, it looks cool to act like you became so rich breeding dogs. A lot of the times, you got money from your parents.
Yes.
You have a side construction business. You have some other side business, and you just want to like do it to feel cool, I guess. I don't know. Most of the real breeders that do it for a living don't have these huge hype, huge high-dollar dog sales, huge social media followings. They just put in the work as a full-time job and produce quality pups.
Yeah.
You know? Like the guy, I won't even say his name because he hates social media, but one of the guys where Winston's Aunt Peony came from, you see her build. He has no social media. He's been breeding English Bulldogs and French Bulldogs for like 25 years. He'll go to some AKC shows, and it's all kind of like, he sells them through like the AKC website, but he's like a legit breeder who, he's made a ton of money, but there's no social media hype, you know?
Right.
And then I run into people with like all these social media followers, and my stud fee is 20 grand, and I sold a pup to China for 80 grand. But if I were to really look at your books over a 3-year time period, you might have had 1 or 2 big hype sales. And
Right,
that's
and that's
it's not
it.
a longevity thing.
Yeah, no, it's hard, I think, for somebody to actually have that that long run, like you said, and then at those prices. I know somebody that does.
Ads and hypes come and go.
Somebody that does, and you know, I've kept with him, and he's definitely a big name, is Eddie that owns China Boy. I'm pretty sure you've seen him on social media or heard of him. No, maybe?
I don't even think I know.
Well, he's more into the pockets, so maybe
Okay.
that's why.
Yeah, probably.
So he's like this crazy big blockhead dog named China Boy. And he's definitely one of the breeders that I've seen that the Frenchies are over there playing. Make me laugh. He's definitely one of the pieces that I've seen that like constantly, every single dog that comes out is like almost a replica of the dad. I mean, the big head, the big muscle, the big bone. And
Nice.
they all sell for a good amount of money, but it's because it's consistent.
Yeah,
and you don't see that a lot.
You didn't see him kind of like, now I'm going to switch to the Merle. Now I'm going to go to the exotic. Now I'm going to go to
Nothing.
this. Now I'm going to
Nothing like that.
And sometimes it takes time to find your path or find what you're happy with. And it's okay to breed XLs and then go to pocket. Like, it's okay to...
Yeah, because your vision
experiment.
changes.
Yeah,
I started
it's
thinking
okay.
I was going to do pockets, you know, when I
me
started.
too.
And then I was like, these exotics, to me, they work out better because they have less drive. I cannot be out there.
Family can watch them without the
Yes,
fights.
yeah, because
I
when
was
you
the
have
same
like
way.
those dogs with a lot of drive, I mean, you got to be on top of them. You got to work
Especially
them
those
out.
females.
Yes.
They get
Oh my
energy and
goodness.
yeah.
Yeah. No. So to me, the smaller dogs work better for me. I know a lot for other people, pockets or XLs. That's your thing, and that's awesome. But to me, yeah, definitely.
It's the motive. It's
exotics.
like, oh, these are selling for a lot. I love these, but I'm going to do these to make more money.
Right.
Versus, hey, the temperament and the size is where I want to be. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's a big difference.
And then definitely, I feel like dogs in any class can go for a lot of money as long as they're doing things right. You know, some people get tricked into like, okay, Frenchies are popular right now. I'm gonna go into Frenchies, and then exotics were popular. I'm gonna go into exotics. It's like I know there's people that are selling probably Chihuahuas for $100,000.
Yeah.
But they're just doing things right.
there's a lane and a market for like all breeds and all styles and all colors, and a lot of it is sticking in yours and finding the like-minded people that appreciate what you appreciate. Yep.
So what was your point? Like, why did you end up switching to the Frenchies? A lot of people were like, Doug doesn't like the bullies no more.
Well, I love all dogs, but when I get into the micro exotic bullies and I have a dog like Champ's height, anything taller than that or longer than that, I'm like, dang, it didn't turn out.
Right.
And for me in the micro exotic bullies, I didn't feel the consistency was there. And you see a lot of guys that will say they have it, but they show you select dogs. They don't show you the whole litter when they're a year old.
Yeah,
all
they'll show you
the
piglet litter, and that's
so to me, consistency has plagued the bully world since the pockets. Mm-hmm. Like I had purchased a ton of Dax, the popular Dax daughters, and maybe 20% of them turned out pocket height. All the others were classics and taller. And, like Big Zeus, people breed all their females to them. It's very rare you get one with a head as big as his. Mm-hmm. And it's just that inconsistency at all different styles of bullies just always kind of bothered me. Mm-hmm. And I noticed people doing really tight inbreeding and risking their health, or constantly doing like crossbreedings with Frenchies like I did with Lexi. And it came to a point where I want the dog so small already. And I know the Frenchies they've been around 200 years. They have way more consistency in their builds. My vet was always telling me the Frenchies are the healthiest of all the bulldog breeds. Like, look at their feet, look at their rears, look at their, mouth. Like, they have
definitely
less issues.
Breathe better, I believe.
Yeah, they have less issues. So I've got, like, my vet saying Frenchies are healthier. Consistency-wise, I just want that consistency. And then once I got to where I want them, like, under 40 pounds, I'm like, Frenchies kind of make sense. And then, me, when we got 1 or 2 and I start really just I felt kind of like alive again, to where I had been through all this with the bullies to where it was normal. Mm-hmm. And with the Frenchies, it was all new, like the colored DNA and the different bloodlines. And that's kind of where I came up with not your average Frenchie, because I would see 5 Frenchies, and even though Frenchies are more consistent than bullies and have been around longer, you have all different kind of heights, back lengths, face shapes, colors. I'm like, I just got down the path of researching Frenchies. And also, my family was easier to involve with the Frenchies.
Than the bullies?
The big heads, the cropped ears. Like, a lot of my family were a little hesitant. Like, when my neighbors are scared, it looks like a pit bull. When the Frenchies are like, I want as many as you can give, you know? So, I still love the bullies. I love all dogs, but when I take and I look, okay, can I have like a 5 or a 10-year long-term, quality, consistent, just program? Frenchies made more sense. You Google most popular dog breeds, I think French Bulldog's number 2.
I think they're definitely
Think of all the pet home customers you get. Where with the bullies, I've never not sold to another breeder. They're all wanting to breed.
Yeah, they're all trying to get on the game.
Yeah, with the Frenchies, it's just like, my daughter saw these little funny-looking alien dogs on TikTok. You have any, Like, well, actually, we do,
Yeah,
So
I do think together. Frenchies are maybe easier to sell and more of a family dog, like you said, but it also requires work. So
Still a lot of work.
I do have like this mission to like change people's mentality of thinking like, okay, I'm gonna get into breeding dogs and I'm gonna get rich. And it's like there's a lot of work behind it, and you have to do things right, because if not, you're gonna take a lot of losses in your litters. Like, if you're not up to date with like the shots, even whelping. I think the big important thing is to like not leave the puppies with the mom unintended, because the mom can either squish the puppy, it can asphyxiate, it can aspirate. Yeah.
The English Bulldogs and the exotic bullies, they're strong eaters. They aspirate so commonly. That was always the hardest part for me.
Do Frenchies do that?
Not near as bad.
No?
They get it in their nose a little, but they're not as strong, so it doesn't seem to get in their lungs as bad. It seems a little bit easier. But back to what you were saying, I think the reason people's mindset are that way is because of the way people can portray images on social media. And also, when you're trying to sell a real high-dollar dog, a lot of people are selling the dream. Mm-hmm. You get this dog, think what you're going to make. You get this dog, think about the stud fees. Like, you're trying to sell a dream to make a high-dollar sale.
It's kind of like a pyramid scheme, if you think about it, right?
Most bully breeders, like, if you look at them, like, 10 years later, they're either into another breed or they're completely out of it. Mm-hmm. Or, it's very rare people are around that long.
Yeah, because especially those people, like you said, that sell the dream, people end up realizing that the dream you're selling is not it. And then you lose the clientele, the little followers that you had that were following you, and that's it. You're out. You have nobody else to sell to, because everybody knows the truth. Yeah. And I feel like when you do things right and you're consistent, kind of like you, people keep coming back. Like I feel
Well,
like
and another thing that bothers me, like in the bully world, is how there's like a popular dog, and then everybody will just, when they're trying to sell their pups, just reference that dog. Oh,
right.
Oh, it's Bape. It's Bape. It's Bape. It's 10 times Bape. It's 8 times Bape. It's Bape. It's Bape. It's like how many different it's Bape, totally different sizes.
Oh my
shapes,
goodness,
colors.
we've seen it all.
Oh, it's Bape, so it's got to be worth a lot. It's like
no.
Like, show me the mom, show me some siblings, some aunts, make it about your program. You're just using a big name to make a quick dollar and be out. I don't know. It always baffled me.
And I mean, only because you mentioned Bape, but I mean, Bape already made his money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He doesn't need you to shout him out and to give him all this promotion. Bape's an established brand. So if you breed to Bape, I feel like if you're gonna breed to one of these big dogs, you have to make sure you have a nice structured female. How important is a nice structured female to breed?
Yeah. Well, with me, I feel like genes kind of like each other, which is why line breeding a lot of the times works, and features. So I saw a lot of guys that had pocket looking females that bred to Bape, and they just got these pocket height dogs with nasty underbites and small heads and just a pocket with a ton of floss.
Right.
And I saw people with straight female mini English bulldogs or Frenchies that breed to Bape and get absolute fire. But then they say it was from this dog, and I'm just I think if you see Bape in person, he looks almost like a mini bulldog.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to breed to him, I want a very exotic, short back, flat face. I want to complement his features. I don't like my dog has long legs and a long muzzle and a small head, so I'm going to breed to this to fix it.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
You'll fix it with one puppy maybe.
One puppy, yeah.
And then the thing is if you haven't been doing this for a while, you won't know it's that one puppy.
And then that one puppy, when you breed it, is going to produce dogs that are not as consistent.
Yeah. One thing that I noticed was that when I first started was I was horrible at picking. I could not. If you and Miguel didn't tell me you should keep that one, I would be like, oh, this one's chocolate, I'm keeping it.
Yeah.
And then I see that puppy later on, and it wasn't what I wanted. And so I always go based off on what you guys say, and I'm like, okay, now I'm starting to get the eye.
It's hard for a lot of buyers that aren't used to it to not just see color or see the biggest pup.
Right.
It's either the colorful one or the biggest one or the one with the most energy. Oh, I like this one. Mm-hmm. But then when you're doing it a while, depending on if you want the cleaner look or the more exotic look or the shorter height, it definitely is something you kind of learn. And then it becomes really easy.
Yeah, then you just oh, it's this one.
With Tuco, you knew day one.
Oh my gosh, Tuco was an amazing as soon as he came out. He got this big head and a little chocolate patch.
Yeah, he when I vision a really quality exotic bully, your boy Tuco pops to mind. I love his head size, his neck, but for being a big, thick bully, he has a very short back.
Yeah.
He's got the flat face, good leg bone. He can run and move.
Yeah, he has clean legs. That's what I like about it.
I love that dog.
Because I was scared that some of these exotic bullies, so the legs don't come out too well, and I was scared he was gonna be like he's a big boy. Yeah. And if his legs aren't structured correctly, he's not gonna be able to move.
Yeah, you deal with the swimmer pups when they're young. Yeah. The back legs splitting out.
Oh, that is another nightmare for everybody that's new into breeding. If you get a swimming pup, it's not the end of the world, but it will be some hard work. I mean, ask me. I had to come over to Doug's house, and Doug's dad showed me how to do the whole taping thing. I think you have some videos on your channel about that, right?
I don't know if we do, but my dad tapes the legs up around 3 or 4 weeks, and they come out of it totally good. But
I thought it was deformed. I thought it was that's it.
If the back legs are splitting out and its legs aren't up underneath them, and then it's laying on a hard surface, the swimmer legs can turn into a flat chest, which can turn into pneumonia, and the pup can die. So yeah, it's a lot of things you learn through experience,
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think with that note, we're on a good time to start wrapping it up, Doug. I am definitely super happy that we were able to do this interview. It will not be the last.
Yeah, I'm always ready.
One, because you have a lot to talk about all the time. Two, you're so close. So definitely get used to seeing Doug on the podcast. Probably whenever something big happens, we'll just make another episode and just,
Hey, anytime you want to come, I'm all about it. I think it's fun. And I'll talk dogs, bullies, Frenchies. It'd be cool if you did a poll to what people want to hear about, and then do a real deep dive into one subject. Whelping the litter. We could have your dad and my dad on, or
kind of tell us what the real dirty work is about.
Yeah, inbreeding. Let's really get into the weeds of it, the pros, the cons, what you've seen, or all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, we might actually start doing that.
There's so many topics. Yeah, it'd be
definitely
fun.
Because it's kind of hard to get guests every week, especially because a lot of the guests are out of state.
Yeah.
So that might be a new thing. Doug's onto something. We might start having regular episodes where we just break stuff down.
I'm all about it. I'm all about it. I love it. I think it's fun.
So definitely make sure that you like this episode, subscribe to the channel. I'm going to leave Doug's information, Instagram and YouTube links below. Make sure you go check him out. If you don't already, expect more interviews coming. You know, it's a crazy little journey that we're starting, but it's definitely going to get there. And we're going to go to the dog show after this, so expect a video coming out. This video should come out first, but if it doesn't, you know, I'm sorry. But this video should come out first, and then you'll see some of the stuff that we were over at the Bully Expo. But again, Doug, thank you very much for having us at your house. It was awesome, and we'll definitely do this again. And you guys have a good one. And this is Flores Bullies, the podcast.